Alrighty, we are back. We've got a tornado on the ground out here in southeastern Kansas, or Nebraska, rather. I've been watching this closely for the last 3 or 4 scans, and we just got a new scan that shows a large debris signature heading towards Hebron in southeastern Nebraska. So this is a particularly dangerous storm that is actively.
A new tornado emergency has been issued.
What the heck? Wait, what the heck? This is now a tornado emergency. This is now a tornado emergency for the town of Hebron in southeastern Nebraska. What? What? Hello? I just got on here for this small debris signature, and it is now a tornado emergency. I'm not sure if somebody's hit the wrong button here, but wow, no, that's definitely a tornado emergency. What the heck? Yeah, this is now a tornado emergency for Hebron in southeastern Nebraska. This is a catastrophic situation with a large and extremely dangerous confirmed tornado. This is the highest end warning you can possibly receive from the National Weather Service ever. So this is a very, very, very serious situation where Tory wording is if you're not underground, you are likely to lose your life. So you must get to a safe spot. I think this is lifted. I'm not sure why we pulled a Tory on this. I gotta be honest with you. I think it's gone. What the heck? What the heck, dude? Wow. I am shocked. I am utterly shocked. I cannot believe that went Tory. Wow. So yeah, we still have a tornado emergency in effect. This is again the highest level warning you could get from the National Weather Service, and I'm in utter surprise that we have it. We jumped from radar indicated to Tory. Guys, this is like EF2 type signature on radar from radar. This is like literally barely worth PDS criteria, and we just skipped confirmed, skipped PDS, and went straight to Tory. Very, very surprised. Oh no, definitely not. That is not a Tory type signature, Brooklyn. Nuh-uh. Definitely not. Yes, this was definitely a tornado for sure, but that is about 110-mile-an-hour rotation. Typically, you got to be at least 160, 170 for a Tory to be issued, and this was at about 100 to 110, which is substantially lower. So that is a very, very surprising tornado emergency right there. You're going to hear an echo for a second, maybe even an ad. So just a heads up. Tornado emergency right there. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Again, this is probably lifted at this point. Probably lifted at this point. This could have been, and this could be another case where like they had Dow data that had like a much stronger area of rotation. Which the one that brings that to mind was the Huntsville, Alabama one where they pulled Tory, but that had more behind it. We had a visual confirmation of a violent tornado that Reed shot his rockets into, and it was also heading into the city of Huntsville, Alabama. So that was it could have been a little bit of a debated Tory with that, but it was heading into a city. It's heading into one of the most populated cities in the Deep South. This is a storm that produced a brief tornado, maybe a brief strong tornado, and it looks to have tracked in a relatively rural area. There's definitely some homes right here that could have been hit, but it looks like it missed the primary town of Hebron. And the Tory continues. Wow, okay. Tory continues. Gracious. I am shocked with that. Give me a second. We're having another NWS type moment. Another classic NWS moment. I'll wait 10 seconds to tweet that out. It never had 75-75. Even if it did, that's not violent. But like I said, maybe they see something stronger on Dow, so be in your safe spot. I find it very strange. Yeah, this was the strongest signature right here. This was the absolute peak signature, and that was 76 on 47, which is like what, 110, 120, 120. I believe that's about 120. Yeah, let me just do that. Since I can't do math. I'll do the exact one. 46, 47 on 76. 123. Which, that is a strong tornado, but not a 170 plus mile per hour violent tornado. Special MCD? Oh, just a new MCD. Yeah, and the absolute maximum peak probable intensity is 145 on that new MCD. It's not a special MCD, it's just a new MCD. I am utterly shocked. A PDS tornado warning, I would have understood that since it was going towards Hebron, but like, that is 2 scans. We had 1 scan here. So this is when it was touching down, obviously. This is when it was touching down. This is when they were like, that's apparently tornado emergency type signature. And then this is when the Tory was issued, and we got it for the general public.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
This is, I would be shocked if this is still actively producing a tornado. But be in your safe spot. Still, if you're inside of that tornado emergency for Hebron and surrounding areas in southeastern Nebraska. I wouldn't be saying this if it was a PDS, y'all. Tories are just very serious. Like, those are high-end warnings that shouldn't be pulled for an EF2 type tornado. You shouldn't be getting Tories for EF2 tornadoes or lower. Based on where this is tracked, this was this is the type of signature right here. Again, that warranted the Tory. 122-ish mile per hour area of rotation. And it's over a generally rural area. Like I said, a PDS warning I think would have fit this well, but you know, it's what the NWS decided with. We can't go back on it now. How high was debris lifted? Yeah, brace, because it ain't gonna be very high. Uh, roughly 7,000 feet. Roughly 7,000 feet. And remember, we have seen EF2 tornadoes loft debris 1,000, 15,000 feet up. So 7 to 9,000 feet up. That's like nothing in terms of Tori standpoint. And we're not very far from the radar either. We're not that far from the radar. So if this was like really far, we had a lot more. Sam, I'd be shocked if this gets EF3 rating. Based on the velocity couplet, how high it's lofted debris, the area it's tracked over, this was probably a strong tornado, which would have easily warranted PDS because it was heading towards Hebron, a well-populated town. So easily would have warranted PDS. But Tor E, like, you sent me this signature and this signature, and you tell me, yeah, that got Tor E. I'd be like, heck no. Who issued this? Hastings. I don't know what type of reputation they have, but yeah, probably not that bad of a reputation. Yeah, see, I do see that, like, what if Dow was on it? Yeah. Like, again, back to the Huntsville, Alabama tour. I said, I don't think it should have been Tori, but then it ended up Tori. And, they had Dow data, but that was a much more probable tornado emergency because, again, it was heading towards one of the most populated cities in the Deep South. Multiple chasers had a photogenic, intense to violent tornado with vortices, and Dow data had a considerably more violent signature than what our actual radar had. And even then, again, it was still going towards a city. So, yeah, if this was heading towards a city, I'd understand a little bit more. But, again, that's just a shocking Tor E. I don't want to fuss too much. I'm not trying to make this a huge problem or anything like that. But I just think that, Tories are... should be very, very reserved for only the worst tornadoes. Like, the wording for a Tory is unsurvivable. A Tory is basically a tornado that is unsurvivable unless you are underground or in a storm shelter. And this is not that type of tornado. This is the type of tornado where if you're underground, you're in a basement, you're away from doors and windows and in your safe spot, you're probably going to be 100% fine unless you're in a mobile home. But even then, EF0 and EF1 tornadoes can topple mobile homes. You should never be in a mobile home if you're under a tornado warning. You should try to prepare more in advance to leave your mobile home and go find sturdier shelter. And in this instance, jumping from no tornado on the ground to violent tornado capable of likely to cause catastrophic damage for that type of signature is just a little bit over the top in my personal opinion. Again, I don't mean to cause much controversy, and please don't go hate on the NWS, because no matter what, they saved lives by issuing a tornado warning, whether it was radar indicated or Tori. Regardless, it still got the word out and saved lives out here. But just a little bit surprising. Quite a bit surprising. So I don't want you to hate the NWS for issuing a Tori, but based on previous criteria, Tori now canceled. Based on previous criteria and the criteria we thought was set, that is a Tori that shouldn't have happened, honestly. And the environment out here, you're looking at a violent tornado parameter of, get this, 1 or less. Supercell composite is about 12, which is decent. And the STP is, depending on which one you use, it's about 0.5 to 1 significant tornado parameter. which background environment very much means that this should have been, right around a PDS criteria. Now disextended down to a small radar indicated. So yeah, I don't think that this is on the ground anymore. Hopefully everybody's okay. That's what matters the utmost, is that everybody's all right from this. So hopefully emergency management can get there quickly. But yeah, just a shocking tornado emergency. Definitely not the weirdest story I've seen, believe it or not. But yeah. There that goes. We also, the cold front did undercut this to some extent, but it's now like a little bit ahead of the cold front at this point. So we haven't seen any more tornadoes from this. We have seen 2 more tornado warnings, but ever since I ended the last live stream, we haven't seen any more observed tornadoes or tornado reports on this particular storm. And I do think it's going to continue to increase with a damaging wind threat. Yeah. So typically for a tornado emergency, a VROT needs to be about 75 knots. A 75 knot VROT. And this was 52 to 53. Right around 52, 53 VROT. And normally you need 75 VROT. So that puts into perspective why we've been debating this. But like I said, either way, it was definitely a tornado. Definitely. Strong, but I highly doubt it was violent. Yes, Kevin, I do agree with like overselling. Like, yeah, for instance, it's better to like a signature like this, for instance, one that looks like it's imminently about to drop a tornado. It would be better to go ahead and pull like a PDS radar indicated or something like that than to like downgrade to like no tornado warning. But a tornado emergency, that'd be like pulling a high risk for today, right? Be like pulling a high risk for today. It's like, yeah, we could see intense to violent tornadoes today, but will we? Probably not. And so a high risk would be way overshooting it, right? That's kind of like what a Tory was in this instance. Family member of NWS employee, I'm assuming, reported a tornado there. It's a tornado report. Hopefully they weren't hit. Based on radar, it probably would have went just north of them. But then again, remember, yeah, radar is obviously scanning upwards, so tornado is going to be not at exactly where radar says. It could be within a mile radius of that radar location. So, radar may say a tornado's right here, but it may actually be up here or down here, or it could actually be over here or over here. So, it's just in proximities, but hopefully that person's all right. So, yeah, the problem is, though, there is a problem when you upgrade a warning from a tornado that, in this case, if this tornado actually was strong, and we're assuming that this tornado was like a low-end, mid-tier EF2 tornado, and it didn't do any type of catastrophic to intense tornado damage, then when a Tory is issued the next time, people are going to think, oh, well, a tornado emergency back there in Nebraska, that wasn't that bad, so this Tory probably isn't that bad either. But obviously, a Torii should be reserved for when there is a very violent tornado, one that, is of utmost proportions and extremely high end. So I do get that, it's not as bad as if, say, there's a Torii with no tornado, right? That's not as bad. But it's still something that is very serious, and I'm sure the NWS is going to look into. I'm sure the NWS, whoever issued it, I'm sure there's going to be some internal arguments there in the NWS. Typically there is. A Torii is, it has to be cleared by multiple...
A new tornado warning has been issued.
A Torii has to be cleared by multiple higher-ups, which is strange because that means it was cleared by multiple higher-ups for that. And you can't just hit a button and go, oops, I put a Torii on a radar-indicated warning. That's not how it works. There's a process and a warning standpoint. That's why sometimes tornado emergencies are late, like the Mayfield Torii. Sometimes it takes a certain criteria, and sometimes the higher-up supervisor isn't available, so sometimes you can't. I believe that was the case for the London, Kentucky tornado last year. A supervisor wasn't available, so they weren't able to issue a tornado emergency. They weren't physically able to issue it. So, like I said, you can't just accidentally issue a tornado emergency. Multiple people have to sign off on that. So I don't mean to, like I said, I don't mean to cause much controversy. And I definitely don't go attack any NWS offices. Please don't do that. But definitely something to think about. Like I said, Torii should only be reserved for the most intense and violent tornadoes. That's what they were created for. Not the instance I'm talking about, Caleb. But if you're referring, I do remember National Weather Service Mount Holly issued PDS and there was no tornado. Forrest, you're a smart person, smarter than I'll ever be. You cannot tell me that you think that was tornado emergency worthy. There's no way. Yes, I 100% understand that Hebron was being hit by a likely strong tornado, but you cannot tell me that this was tornado emergency worthy. Sometimes, yeah, obviously sometimes when tornado emergencies are issued, the actual tornado itself won't be rated as EF4 because, like, maybe it doesn't hit strong enough structures to be rated EF4. For instance, the Tories there for tornado emergencies in southern Mississippi from earlier this month, that was a violent tornado, but it wasn't rated as such because it stayed over mainly rural regions, but still was rated, I believe, mid-tier EF3, I think. So it wasn't rated as a violent tornado, but it definitely, at some point, it was capable of producing violent damage. And that's why a Torii was issued on that day. Torii is tornado emergency. It's the highest level warning ever that can ever be issued from the National Weather Service, and typically means a violent, destructive, catastrophic tornado that is extremely large, is heading towards a relatively populated area, and most of the time, they're the type of warnings that are issued when a tornado is so intense that really the only way to survive it is going to be in your safe spot or underground. It's a very dire warning.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So hopefully everyone in Hebron is okay. We did just get a new observed warning, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. So let's go check that out. It's going to be up here in Minnesota. Oh, that looks like it was unwarned before. Hold on, let's go back on that. Sure was. This was an unwarned tornado, and now it is a confirmed tornado warning. I'm assuming there's a report. Yep, law enforcement has confirmed a tornado. So tornado ongoing here. in Truman, Minnesota. I also think we had another potential tornado, over an hour ago, unconfirmed report of a tornado approximately 1 mile southwest of Worthington, debris currently being observed. So we had one possible tornado in Minnesota over an hour ago, and then now a confirmed tornado heading towards Truman right now in southern Minnesota. Also, Oklahoma never did anything. we never got any 4-inch hailstones down here. Oklahoma did absolutely nothing, so... Yeah, aggressive MCD by the Storm Prediction Center, but they never issued a watch, which was very, very wise. Watch them issue a watch now. That'd be funny. Wall cloud reported 26 minutes ago, so at that point, it was probably lifted. Since that's a wall cloud report, not a tornado report. We do have some pretty high damaging wind potential here as this goes towards western Iowa. Not very high tornado potential, but pretty high damaging wind potential. I'm still shocked we had a Tori. Like, that was surprising. I want to go back and watch my reaction to that. I thought I was, like, tripping or something. I can't believe we had a Tori. It was in the 10% tornado risk, too. Monday will expand more. I think so, yeah. I do think the moderate will expand more tomorrow. Probably to the west. Yeah, I started stream when I saw that CC. Like, I was ready. I was already prepared for this to drop a strong tornado. I closed out all the tabs that I was using, closed my door, got all my streaming stuff ready. And then this is when I got it ready, right here. Right here, I was like, shoot, that's strong. I'm probably going to have to go live. So I got everything set up. This scan came in. I said, probably not. Never mind. And then, boom, big CC. And so I started stream right there. Not but a minute or two after I started stream, tornado emergency. I can't believe that was Tori. Wow. Yeah, I was thinking it was going to go PDS. That's why I went live, because I was thinking it was going to go PDS. Then it just went straight to Tori. Man. Let's go back up to that confirmed warning. Is it still observed? Yep, there's your report from law enforcement. Short rope tornado northwest of Fairmount, north of mile marker 99 along I-90, confirmed by law enforcement and train spotter. Yep. No surprise there. So be in your safe spot if you're north of Fairmont, heading into Truman, Minnesota. Outside of that, no tornado warnings in Michigan anymore. No tornado warnings in Colorado or Kansas. So we have that one warning in southeast Nebraska. Actually, technically 2 warnings on this one storm in southeastern Nebraska. Our storm that's been tornado warned for quite a hot minute out here in southwestern Minnesota. And then our newly added confirmed tornado warning for Truman in south central Minnesota. I'm very curious to see. Often models overdo the intensity of a line. So I'm curious to see if this continues to intensify or if it just starts to fizzle out. Because sometimes, like I said, models overdo the intensity of lines, and they're actually not as strong as what the model is depicting. I would say this is probably going to be one of those cases where it's neither. The line doesn't die out, but the line doesn't really intensify rapidly. Why? Because it's not a great environment. Yeah, we got about 2,000 cape out here, but that's still enough for this line to continue to maintain, maybe intensify a little bit. Your downdraft cape also is a little bit sufficient for 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. So I don't think this line will die out, but I don't expect it to intensify that much more. Haley, if they extend the moderate tomorrow, which I think they will, it's probably going to be to the west, not to the east-southeast. It's probably going to be to the west. No longer an observed tornado warning, so we're down to full radar indicated warnings there in southern Minnesota. And they dropped the tornado warning for Alexandria in southeastern Nebraska, so we're down to 3 radar indicated warnings. Man, what an insane 30 minutes. That was crazy. An unwarned tornado, a tornado emergency, and all sorts of stuff right there. We also got a video of that tornado north of Fairmount, Minnesota. 100% was a tornado. Video of a rope tornado. Let's see. Okay. Alrighty, let's see what we have down here in Kansas. So those storms still significant for 1.75 inch hail and 70 mile an hour winds on all 3 of those. All 3 of them. So, yeah, I think that's corruption in Lincoln. We definitely could see a tornado out of one of these storms in Kansas, so need to watch them just in case. I wouldn't really say shame on the NWS because still it was a strong tornado, but it definitely didn't hit criteria for a Tori. Where? Winnebago?
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Oh, shoot. Did they warn it? Oh, shoot. They did warn it. Wow. Okay, that's going to take me up here. That looks like corruption. However, that matches up pretty well, so... nah, that looks like a huge debris ball. Like, what the heck? No, that looks pretty valid.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Is that for this storm? Yeah, no, I think that was just a strong to intense unwarned tornado. Now warned. Yeah, that is very, very large debris. And that goes up with height. That is a probable unwarned intense tornado from just moments ago. We're talking 12,000 plus feet up for that debris. What did it hit? What did it hit in between here and here? Like, there's not even a lot to hit there, so it lofted up a lot of debris for something that's in a rural region. Now it hit something a lot more. Yeah, a lot more populated. Winnebago? Winnebago? Not sure how you say that, but hopefully it lifted before it got into town. Yeah, like I said, that's a probable significant plus tornado right there. Maybe cows. That'd be a lot of cows, man. That'd be a lot of cows. Loft a cow 12,000 feet up. That'd have to be a lot of cows. Yeah, Jake, your comments got deleted because of Nightbot. You did one too many caps, and Nightbot didn't like that. You could spam in here a million times, and Nightbot won't care, but if you do a bit too much caps, it will ban you. Nightbot's stupid like that. Yeah, this has all the characteristics of a strong tornado. It could even still be ongoing, to be honest with you. You've got debris fallout on the north side, too. Look at this. I believe this is fallout from your strong tornado right in here. So this is a very probable intense tornado that was unwarned. Let's see if anyone else is pointing this out. Yeah. I mean, that matches everything. You even have a deep ZDR drop, too. Wow. Like I said, this still could be ongoing, too. That's still probable debris there. Very much could still be a strong tornado ongoing here. About to head towards Salix in western Iowa. This is the Iowa-Nebraska border here. It's hard to say when it touched down and when it's lifted, but it definitely looks like that's been at some point a strong tornado. And it was unwarned, now it is tornado warned, but it's not confirmed and it's not PDS. But when it first touched down, yeah, it was definitely unwarned when it first touched down somewhere in here. And then it got warned just a little bit. And now it's moving out of the warned area. So if it is still on the ground, it is actually moving into an unwarned region now. Do we have another? Let's go to the Sioux Falls radar. Yeah, you can see that shows debris too. That's 9,000 feet up. Yeah, look at that. Yep. Looks like a couplet even that high up.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Surprised it's not observed, and maybe the radar is not strong enough or something for them to be confident enough in that being a tornado. There's also a little CC up here that's suspicious too. Don't think that's a tornado. It's not as convincing. It has a ZDR drop. You know, it could be. It could be a weak tornado north of the primary strong tornado. And it's still, again, wouldn't surprise me if this is ongoing. Like, that couplet, it's not very strong, but it's strong enough to the point where when we're looking 5,000 feet up, I do think that that could be a tornado on the ground. It definitely was a tornado at some point, according to radar. And it very well still could be. But for sure, like, these 3 scans right here. This scan, this scan, this scan, and then maybe even the 4 scans. Those 3 to 4 scans, I am 99% sure that was a tornado, probably strong. After that, like our last 3 scans, I'm not too sure. It's gotten further from radar. And it looks a little bit less well defined. New scan in 10 seconds here. Yeah. That looks a lot more like Fallout. To me, at least. Denton. See, I'll just go look south. It's probably south. Still going to keep an eye on that storm in western. That is in southeastern Nebraska. And then one in Lincoln, I can't tell if it was corruption, but definitely was rotating at some point, and it could have produced a tornado. That one was in Kansas. These 2 are in a radar hole. It's just so hard to see these 2, so just be in your safe spot. Those are in southern Minnesota. So we got tornado warnings in 4 states. Kansas, 5. Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. I can't count. I think I counted Iowa twice. Fremont, Nebraska. I see some rotation. Which one? This southern one or the northern one? This one looks a little bit more just like some winds. This looks like some convergence.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So yeah, watch that. That's going to go towards north, barely north of Fremont in Nebraska. Yeah, the convergence, yeah. I agree that that's a little area to watch. Only thing is that's in like an odd spot. That's not really where I think a tornado would form. So it's in a bit of a weird spot on the line. New tornado warning up here. This tiny little tornado warning. In south central Minnesota. Make sure you're in your safe spot. We're up to 40 warnings, 7 tornado warnings, and 21 severe warnings. Plenty of warnings. And more just keep coming in. I'm going to go back down to the Omaha radar. Yeah, there's still some fallout from that. I still believe it's fallout too. I'm pretty confident that's fallout from a tornado. I mean, everything on this radar acted like it was a tornado. You had ZDR dropping, you had consistent CC increasing and then also fading out, indicating a tornado strengthening, maintaining, and then dying. You had fallout after the velocity decreased. You had debris with height, and you even had some debris on a secondary radar. The Sioux Falls radar site picked up on some debris with this storm. So everything points to that being a probable strong tornado. Let's go forward with that.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Where was that? Oh, Nebraska. Which one? Oh, down here. For Wilbur. Yeah, that little area rotation in western. Kind of looks like corruption. The spot on where it's at on that storm looks like corruption. I'd expect the actual area rotation to be down here, not up here. But that could be non-corrupted rotation, so just be in your safe spot if you're in Wilbur. Southeastern Nebraska. And still a okay area of rotation for Shady Bend and Kansas being your safe spot there. Well, like I said, we got up to 7 tornado warnings. So got pretty crazy pretty quick. Oh, now we gotta do the crazy thing here and go look at the HRRR. Wow. I'd like to say the HRRR is definitely hinting at a very long-lived MCS. I don't quite know if that'd be derecho, because our criteria is so stupidly high now. It takes a storm tracking. It takes a 100-mile wide storm tracking from Oregon to Florida to get a derecho. But definitely a long-lived MCS for the next couple hours is likely here across Iowa. A good chunk of Iowa, too. Oh, shoot. About dang time.
New information, this tornado warning has been upgraded.
About time. Now that it looks like fallout. Let me guess, radar confirmed too? Confirmed by... Oh, my bad. Actually confirmed by emergency management. Confirmed by emergency management, apparently 5 minutes ago. So that'd be on this scan right here. Yeah, it could have been on the ground 5 minutes ago. That's probably when it was lifting. These two scans are from roughly about 5 minutes ago, in between 5 minutes ago. This was 6 minutes ago. This was 4 minutes ago. Yeah, either it was still down at that time or it was lifting. Probably beginning to lift, and that's when they reported it because they saw it at that point. But there's a pretty high chance it's not ongoing anymore. But that does confirm our suspicion that we probably did have a strong tornado with this. I'm not sure how far south the line's going to go here, but yeah, definitely looking at a very notable damaging wind threat across this portion of the U.S. over the next couple hours. Especially on that northern end, because that's where your strongest storm is. You can see the HRRR very, very confident in that too.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So I think our worst severe threat is going to be over the next two and a half, 3 hours now. Let's see, what is two and a half hours? Yeah, about 2.5 hours. We get an SPC update in 20 minutes, by the way. For those of you who may have forgotten, we do indeed get an SPC update in about 20 minutes. That looks pretty strong. That looks very strong. Easily could have a tornado ongoing north of Beaverly in Kansas. So make sure you run to your safe spot. We just got a huge tornado watch. A ginormous tornado watch. You won't believe it. Yep, there's your new tornado watch. That tiny little portion. They really couldn't just extend it down there. They really need to issue an entirely new tornado watch for that. That's an entirely different tornado watch right there. Normally, you know, they just expand the active one by like 1 or 2 counties and call it done. But they issued an entirely new tornado watch for this area. Okay, sure. I'm curious here. Wofus time. 00Z Wofus is in.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Yeah, most of these Wofus runs have that very confined area of significant damaging winds right up in here. Pretty good consistency on that. Definitely some uncertainty on the southern end, that is for sure, but that northern end stays locked in on damaging winds. I wonder if at this next update, the SPC next update, well, they really already have a 45 hatched out in that area.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Maybe they'll expand it just a bit, like trim that southwest quadrant and expand it just a tiny bit on the tail end. But considering how far storms are now, that they're already into the 45 hatched. Today definitely played out a little bit more wonkier than I thought, but definitely called out the intense tornado potential with the first hour or so, and then definitely called out the big damaging wind threat we're seeing now, and that will continue for a while. Definitely missed the potential for apparently a violent tornado in southeastern Nebraska today. I missed that. I think we mentioned the potential for a few tornadoes down there, maybe one strong because of NATO cast, but really didn't see the potential down there. Yeah, but there's your 15 hatched risk, and I mean, I'd say it performed very well. Wouldn't y'all? I mean, maybe... Nah, I think it did. With 3 strong tornadoes, I think that's pretty good for a 15 hatched. And it wasn't a very large 15 hatched. Like, yeah, it's decently large, but it's not, like, very, very large to the point where I think we need, like, 5 more strong tors to verify it. So, yeah, we've probably had 3 strong tornadoes. bunch of warnings coming in up here too. I think we just got 2 new tornado warnings. I'm gonna go back down here to Kansas. A very concerning couplet developing there. So be in your safe spot in Minneapolis in Kansas. Easily could get a strong tornado there. Wondering all these alerts coming in, why is there so many? Well, now we're up to 24 severes and 9 tornado warnings, so we're very far up there on the spectrum. We have plenty of storms. I'm going to refresh this because it's going to be behind. It's going to keep doing that for like 2-3 more minutes straight because we've gotten so many new ones. So here's a newer one here in Wilbur in Nebraska. Make sure you're in your safe spot. That's a re-intensifying area of rotation. There is also plenty of tornado warnings up here. We still have our strong area of rotation for a new tornado warning here going into Winnebago. Your guess is as good as mine. The previous confirmed one for Truman, and then a new one that's an extension of these two, a new one out here for St. James in Minnesota. So we have 5 tornado warnings in Minnesota.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Make that 6 tornado warnings in Minnesota. But we're about to lose a few. We just lost for a split moment there. We were at 6. Now we're down to 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings. Yep. We barely hit 10 tornado warnings for like literally a second. 10 tornado warnings overall. And now we are back down to 7 nationwide. Definitely could see another tornado develop up here near Anthon in western Iowa. So make sure you're in your safe spot. Is that in Illinois? I don't know where that area is. If you're in Illinois, you're under that level 2 out of 5 tomorrow. So definitely going to get the risk for some severe weather, but it shouldn't be too bad. Just a lot of heavy rain tomorrow morning, and then maybe some heavy rain Tuesday morning. And both rainstorms tomorrow morning and Tuesday morning could be accompanied with a bit of wind. We'll have to see what changes between now and tomorrow because there will be things that change. If this line lasts a little bit longer, maybe your wind threat ends up to be a little bit higher in Illinois tomorrow. But main threat, regardless, even if this line is stronger than anticipated, is still going to be damaging winds. Seven tornado warnings right now. 1 observed. Hard to say what these are doing, just be in your safe spot. Pretty much all of our storms that are tornado warned except... really all of them are in a decent radar hole. None of them are easy to see. This one's pretty far from radar. That one's not.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
All except for that one are very far from radar. That's a new one here for Ashland in Nebraska. Make sure you're in your safe spot. But that's far. And that's another new one way up there. Now we're back up to 9.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Yeah. Very strong area of rotation here. Very, very strong. That's heading towards Minneapolis once again.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
It's heading generally for Minneapolis in central Kansas. Very strong area of rotation there. Is that a new warning up here? Nah, still 4. So we're back to 10 tornado warnings. Unless we get a new one in the next 10 minutes. Then we'll go down. But right now we're at 10 tornado warnings. We'll probably see more within the next 10 minutes to get us over that 10 tornado warning mark. Just a little area of rotation there in Ashland in Nebraska. If we see a tornado out of that, it's likely to be very weak and very brief. And then it's very hard to see what these storms in Kingsley are doing in northwestern Iowa. I mean, they can issue as many tornado warnings as they want, but most of the time, it's not. Getting 10 tornado warnings in the matter of all concurrent is not something you see too often. Only on very, very, very active tornado days. But they can issue as many warnings as they want, as long as they see it fit. I know for sure the lower level jet is present now, yeah. These storms back down in here were not in the lower level jet earlier today. So over the last hour or so, that's likely what they've encountered. You could see even just 2 hours ago, most of the storms were removed from the lower level jet. Not the case anymore. Huh. Well, that sure isn't sus. Look at that. That's an oddly strong couplet right there in south central Minnesota. You need to watch that very, very closely. And now Omaha, you are officially in a significant severe, if you live in the city of Omaha, Nebraska. Significant severe for 70-mile-an-hour winds. So be away from doors and windows. And also portions of the western suburbs here of Omaha under that tornado warning. Still a strong area of rotation there. North of Minneapolis. Is that how you spell... Is that how you spell Minneapolis? Okay, it is literally Minneapolis. So I've been saying that wrong. It's literally Minneapolis, Kansas. Yeah, none of these storms look extremely impressive, but I have a feeling the reason why is because none of them are very close to the radar. And the only one that actually is close to the radar is very, very weak. So none of these areas are impressive, but any of them could produce a tornado. Should get a new SPC outlook here in about 10 minutes or so. Of course, that's why we're seeing tornadoes in Minnesota. There's a warm front. If you didn't know, 2026 is the year of warm fronts. That's why we've seen so many tornado warnings in Minnesota. Because all of them are on a warm front. Makes sense now. Makes sense. I never said it was going. I never said it was going to bust because of the cold front. I said if the cold front undercuts everything, it would bust. And the cold front didn't undercut anything except one storm for like an hour. And then that storm actually passed over the cold front. What happened was the cold front passed the storm, and the storm helped slow the cold front down, and so that storm continued and passed right back by that cold front. That's all it took. And then it went crazy. And that was this line right here that's produced. At least, we have seen at least 2 strong tornadoes out of this. And then we also had a strong tore down here. And then we also had we actually had 2 or 3 tornadoes out of there. So we've had at least 5 tornadoes today. We've at least had 5 tornadoes today. At minimum. Probably, most likely more than that. Let's see here. Looking through a bunch of stuff. Ben, I don't think it was an intense tornado. I do agree it was strong, but I don't agree it was intense. I don't believe it hit structures to be rated such, and I also don't believe radar-wise the couplet was strong enough. So, I'd agree on it being strong, but not intense. Despite the tornado emergency. Also have to watch this storm to see if that tries to become a warm front problem like all the other ones back here. This is in the 10 sig, right? That's tomorrow. Oh no, this is in the 5 sig. Actually in the 5 sig. Is this verifying today? Yes, it is. Yep. We've had 5 tornadoes. And 4 of which were in the 10 sig or greater. Like I said, we could have had more than 5 tornadoes. I just know that we've at least seen 5, so that's what I'm going with. And out of those 5, 3 were strong or greater. Don't think there's much rotation left with this storm down here. Same goes with the one near Omaha. So these 2 I don't think are a big tornado threat. Still being your safe spot, but I don't think they're that big of a tornado threat right now. One in Kansas, I believe, is also dying out. It could recycle, but imminently, I don't think that's a big tornado threat either. So I think the only storms really are worth watching imminently is this one here. And probably this one here. Those are probably the 2 storms I'm watching the most. One northwest Iowa, one in south central Minnesota. Let's see. A new SPC outlook here in about 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, we'll get a new SPC outlook. Remember, if you are in Omaha, if you're watching from Omaha, make sure you get indoors, away from doors and windows as this storm rolls through. Now, there's definitely not a very big tornado threat with this. There is a slim chance for a weak, brief spin up, but it is not that big of a tornado threat. So, if you're in the tornado warning in that red flashing pink polygon, be in your safe spot, of course, but I don't see... Huh? I don't see a big tornado threat with this, but this might be on the ground. That's what me switching between those products very quickly was for. Well, obviously this storm heard me say it wasn't that impressive and that big of a tornado threat because it's dropping a tornado now. That's just my luck. I just speak things into existence like that. I just saw that bin. I have it on my second or my third monitor. Yeah, tornado ongoing in going into Omaha. Now this most likely will lift before it actually gets into Omaha, but it's heading that direction. So if you're in this warning, this is a tornado ongoing now. So if you're not already in your safe spot, here's an even better reason to get to your safe spot. And that is a probable tornado ongoing. Most likely, it is a very brief, weak tornado. We're close to the radar, which is why we're able to see this so easily. And it's likely lofting debris just about 1,000 feet up. Right around 1,000 feet up. So probably not like a strong or a plus tornado, but rather a weak, brief spin up. Still, though, good enough to do damage to the point where we could see it from radar. Let's see here. That was 30 minutes ago. Somebody just tweeted a tornado moments ago, and moments ago is apparently 30 minutes ago. In my opinion, moments ago is like within the last 5, maybe 10 minutes, but I guess moments ago is now a half hour ago. Yeah, it looks like that's debris fallout, but that definitely was a tornado. Someone reported a funnel. Hopefully that same person was able to see a tornado if one did occur. Hopefully they'll report it if they saw it. Hopefully this didn't hit anybody. Let's see. Looks like it occurred like right in between. I'm assuming this is what looks to me like a river. There's definitely some homes in the vicinity of the river. But, I mean, it definitely could have avoided them. Also, with such a small CC, there's a high likelihood it was a very tiny tornado. So, hopefully that avoided any homes around the lake area there. And the good news is there wasn't a lot of population there anyways. So, if it did hit homes, it probably would have hit these. Some of these actually look more like not even houses, just overall buildings. So hopefully everybody's okay there. But like I said, even if it did hit the population, it would have been not too many people. But hopefully everybody's all right and it actually didn't hit anyone. Yeah, we don't need no more big tornadoes today. Also, there's a high likelihood if it did hit anybody in this area, there's a high likelihood as long as they were sheltering, they'd be perfectly fine because that signature looks to be very weak, very brief, and very tiny. Very, very tiny. Very tiny little signature. Look at that. 4 pixels wide type signature right there. Very small. So.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
Yeah, like I said, if that did do any damage, it likely would have been on the weaker side of things. I've seen a tornado before, too, in my dreams. Does that count? In Odell? Oh, let's go check Odell. Let's see. Let's go to Odell, Germany. Let's see. No, not seeing any tornadoes out here. You see what happens when you don't put a state name in it? Come on, Misty. A long-time viewer, you still don't know how to put state names in? Come on. Odell, Illinois? Not seeing anything over there.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Huh. Interesting choice. Not really a lot of rotation there. There's a lot of outbound winds, so definitely strong winds here, 50 to 60 miles per hour. But I don't see a lot of inbound winds. So that means there's a lot of push. A lot of push here. Pushing those winds out. But not a lot of pull. So when you got a lot of push and no pull, you ain't got no rotation. You don't have enough spin. Because you've got winds, again, pushing. But there's no winds pulling. Kansas. Kansas. It's not even popping up. You sure? Nebraska-Kansas border. Oh. Misty, that's Nebraska. You went on the wrong side. This is Kansas. This is Nebraska. See? Nebraska. I don't see anything great with that, honestly. It's not in an area where I think there'd be rotation, but I keep an eye on it just in case. But I don't see anything very concerning there. Oh, great. Is that going to try to do something too? Man, be careful. Be careful of the little 4 pixels here. So, you know what? As funny as it is, I would actually definitely be in my safe spot. Because these tiny little pixels have actually almost are the same pixels that produced a brief tornado earlier. So they very well could do it again. So be in your safe spot. This is on the southwest side, going towards the southwest side of Omaha here in Nebraska. Now, if they do touch down, it's obviously going to likely be a weak brief tornado, but it is still, if it does occur, a tornado. You don't want to mess around. No matter how weak the tornado is, you don't want to mess around with it. It's still a tornado, so be in your safe spot. Now, there's no confirmed tornado out of this yet. There most likely was a tornado earlier out of almost this exact same couplet. Oh.
New information. This tornado warning has been upgraded.
So no tornado on the ground with that storm. Actually, it is. It's observed now, so you're going to get another one of those alerts. Another one of those alerts. So this one is actually on the ground. Apparently it's not going to do it again, but yeah, we do have 2 confirmed warnings. So this is a tornado on the ground in western Iowa. And there is a tornado ongoing now. According to A radar confirmed tornado northeast of Ashland. So, yeah, apparently that is producing a tornado. So if you're on the west side of Omaha, southwest side of Omaha being your safe spot. That is a tornado ongoing. So add 2 more to the count. That's 7. At least 7 tornadoes now. Actually, is that at least 8? Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. That's at least 8 tornadoes now. Yeah, I mean, it may have performed as a moderate. That just comes down to, I'm not sure if any of these tornadoes will actually be rated EF3. Really the only tornado that I think has a chance at that. I don't know. I was going to say the first tornado we had, which was barely outside the 15 hatched. But then again, that unwarned strong tour on the border of Iowa and Nebraska earlier was pretty strong. So maybe. I think it could have performed as a moderate. Earlier today, I was screaming moderate. I was saying moderate for all hazards. And really the only... If they did a moderate for all hazards, really the only thing that wouldn't have performed... I mean, maybe even the hail would have performed. Honestly, if they did a moderate for all hazards, I think it would have... By the time it's all said and done, I think all hazards will perform as a moderate. The only thing that may not is the fact that we haven't seen any wind gusts over 90 miles per hour today. Oh, wait. I forgot. SIG 2 is 84, 85 miles per hour. So, yeah, we did just get a new outlook and they maintained enhanced, which I'm not surprised if. I didn't expect them to pull a last second moderate considering we are, we're still at peak. I would say we're past the peak opportunity for strong to intense tornadoes. But we still could see multiple more tornadoes and maybe even a strong one tonight. Yeah, look at that. 15 SIG maintained. 45 SIG wind maintained. And wow, that's a slim hail risk right there. Very slim hail risk. Give it about 5 minutes, storms will already be outside of that risk. Not literally, but shoot, almost. I mean, seriously, by the time this updates, they're going to be right on the edge of leaving that 30% aside from the tail end of it on the southern end and the northern tail end of it. Aside from like this area up here and this area down here, by the time it updates, storms are going to be literally about to exit that 30% hail risk. That wind risk, I don't know if they brought it down at all further to the south. But yeah, it looks like it's this. Yeah, it's the same. They really didn't need to bring it further down to the south, so yeah, I don't blame them for not doing that. There's a new wind risk, and I do agree that our greatest wind risk will be focused with this storm here. Oh, wait, I want to see your hail risk. Yeah, see, look. These storms are already leaving the 30% hail risk right here. Those are leaving it. Those are leaving it. These are starting to leave it. These have well left it. These will stay in it for a while longer because they're kind of training over the same area. So like if you loop this, yeah, you could see they're really training over the same area. So those will stay in the 30% hail risk for a hot minute. Downtrend for tomorrow, man. HRRR didn't do too well today, so it trended a little bit further south, which could be for many reasons, but wouldn't necessarily call it a downtrend yet.
A new PDS severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Oh. PDS EDS 80 observed. Well, there you go. That's right halfway in and halfway out of the 45 sig wind. So there's a PDS EDS severe thunderstorm warning again, second one of the day. I haven't gotten the report yet. Mesonet recorded 77 mile-an-hour wind gusts from a personal weather station. So be in your safe spot if you are in that pink polygon. This one right here, the non-flashing one, is a PDS EDS. That's a particularly dangerous and extremely dangerous situation. So this area likely prone to damaging winds.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So make sure you get to your safe spot there. We're a full conga line. Look at this. Full conga line. Severe is connected. Severe is connected. 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 We are a full conga line of severe thunderstorm warnings. The only ones that aren't connected is way up here in between our far northern storm and then our little earlier batch from convection earlier today that is still ongoing now all the way into Minnesota. So now we've just got one big old line, just like the HRRR predicted. Man, I mean, the HRRR missed a little bit, but it did very well. It really did. If we go back to the 12Z run here, I mean, we didn't have as fast upscale growth as like what this model run hinted at. But like some of these later runs, I think it might have been the 19Z. Like this one here was really good. You could see it even had that more discreet tail end Charlie there. And then grew up scale. And you could see maybe it's definitely not doing the best with in between these two lines in here. Definitely not doing very good there, but you could see a definitive line here.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
And here. And you could even see the prefrontal stuff in Minnesota right up there. So that's really good. That is a really good job by the HRRR model. And this is the 19Z from earlier today, which was about an hour or so, 2 hours, actually, about 2 hours before our main storms fired. Now, I'm curious if we go to the 00Z.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
This is the 00Z HRRR4 right now. The 00Z from yesterday for right now. And didn't do too horrible. It's a little bit slow, which is ironic. Typically, the HRRR is a bit fast. But it did not do that bad. You see, there's your main line. And again, didn't handle that gap too well. And then your continuation of that main line. Let's see. A little bit more morning convection into eastern Kansas, but that shouldn't matter. Yeah. You're still on track for that sharp instability access, though it is a little bit further south. Definitely a little further south but still should be a big day tomorrow if this comes to fruition. Morning convection could have a little bit of an issue if it drops a boundary, but I don't think it will be a big problem. Downtown Omaha in a tornado warning now. So be in your safe spot.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
Oof. Yeah, all it did was trend a little bit further to the southwest. That's about it. You still get an hour of semi-discrete supercells capable of producing intense tornadoes right along the boundaries. Surprised that flash flood warning took that long to come out. I expect us to get a few more as these supercells keep training over each other. None of these tornado warnings around the Omaha metro and in eastern Nebraska actually impress me. Wow. That is crazy. That is a big look for tomorrow. That is a big look for tomorrow. Definitely worth. And those are actually multiple semi-discrete supercells too. You can make out three to four semi-discrete supercells for 2 hours on the HRRR tomorrow. Very impressive stuff. I would say more impressive, considerably more impressive than the 18Z. Eh. Nah, I don't really need to go to sleep. Yeah, Catman, but it still nailed it with you getting absolutely nothing in Oklahoma, doing absolutely nothing in southern Kansas, doing absolutely nothing. So even if it underdoes moisture, it still got it right at the end of the day. Tornado warning for Hanover and northern Kansas. So make sure you're in your safe spot. Huh. Well, I guess the severe... Oh, shoot.
A new PDS
Never mind.
severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
I was about to make the joke that the warning's just going to skip over these counties, and then we just got a fat PDS EDS right there.
A new PDS severe thunderstorm
Okay, I
warning
get
has been
it.
issued.
I get it, I get it. This storm's dangerous. Get to your safe spot. If you're in this area, get to your safe spot. This is a PDS EDS, severe thunderstorm warning, which means it is a particularly dangerous situation, as well as an extremely dangerous situation, meaning that it is capable of producing 80-mile-per-hour winds, and those 80-mile-per-hour winds are going into an area that may be and is likely prone to damaging winds. Special MCD for these storms, for 90-mile-an-hour winds being possible. A weak tornado or two, as well as a focus corridor of 60 to 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts and gust upwards of 90 miles per hour possible. But main threat is going to be damaging winds. We lost most of our warnings up here in Minnesota. Actually, all of them. Tornado warning list in Minnesota. So we have our confirmed warning for 6 more minutes. And then these 2 for 6 more minutes. These 2 for 36 minutes. This one for 21. So in 6 minutes, we will be down to 1, 2, 3 warnings unless we get new ones. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to grab something real quick. All right, there we go. All right, there you go. So we are down to 6 tornado warnings now. 5. We just lost another one. Oh, there we go. That was awesome. My ear was stuffed and it just popped. That was great. How to swallow some water. I can hear again. Speaking of water, wow, I've drank that much water. Yikes. Down to 2 bottles. None of these tornado warnings are very concerning right now. Oh, let's see the rest of the 00Z. I mean, it's thunderstorms. I still have a good feeling a lot's going to change tomorrow. I really don't want to take this for... The thing is, the HRRR, the reason why the HRRR probably did pretty good for today is because it didn't have, it did have quite the morning convection actually to deal with. I was going to say it didn't have much morning convection to really screw it up, but yeah, but it recovered quickly. Like, really, morning convection didn't play a big role in today. Because it cleared out. I mean, look at it. This was by noon, so morning convection really didn't have much of a role in today's performance. But tomorrow it will. So I trust the HRRR.
A new PDS severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Yep, another one. So I trust the HRRR less for tomorrow than I do for today. I feel like we have stuff to work out for tomorrow.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So we'll wait to see, but regardless of morning convection tomorrow, I really think we're looking at a day that's worth a moderate. It's just how high can the threat go? Is it worth a moderate for wind as well? Yeah, that's a very typical place for tornadoes to occur right there, where you have this indent. So that's a very good warning, despite the radar, the lack of radar here. I definitely agree with that tornado warning. That's just a notch of where a tornado could occur. It's common meteorology for that area to have tornado potential. Higher chance of convection in Oklahoma tomorrow. Nah. I mean, Overall, yeah, but firing, if you're talking about convection firing on the dry line, nah. I think today was the best chance with the fact that you had a good low pressure in very close proximity to the dry line. I think Oklahoma will get storms, but I think it will be from the cold front in the overnight hours, and I don't think they'll be very significant. And from the models I'm looking at, not many,
A new tornado warning has been issued.
actually none fire in Oklahoma. There's one more model one I want to check. If this doesn't fire in Oklahoma, you're cooked. It fired in Oklahoma today, which we know didn't actually happen, and it doesn't fire tomorrow. Oh, actually, correction. It fires both days. It fired today and tomorrow. It fires storms at 7 o'clock today, and it fires storms at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Go over here, here. That's not what I want. Yeah, see this though? This is what we like to call it shortwave right here, Catman. You know that? Remember those in meteorology? And that was situated and aimed right towards Oklahoma. And you have a belt of flow right there in Oklahoma, Kansas, right along the dry line. And if we go to the future map, 21Z, 500 millibar, tomorrow, you could see you have that same similar flow. Now, it is a little bit more open midday. This is 4 or 5 p.m. It's definitely a little bit more open and a tiny bit stronger than today. But you could see that window closes by 6, the hour before 8 o'clock. That window closes in Oklahoma pretty quickly. So, I think if you get initiation, the wrap has a little bump right there, a little dry line nose. And that definitely would increase the chance for initiation closer to like 5 p.m. Central.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
But I don't think the HRRR has that. No, the HRRR does not. It does have a little bit towards when the cold front pushes in, but that's after dark. So I find that unlikely. If that, yeah, bulge. That's what I was looking for. If that dry line bulge happens before the cold front comes in, like if you see that bulge midday, about 4 o'clock, like right in here, that bulge happens and you see a much sharper, better dry line, that could be a focal point for initiation. But right now, I don't see that happening. But I've been wrong plenty of times before, so. I wasn't wrong today, though. Yeah, I wasn't wrong today about it not firing. Despite the SPC even increasing to a 80% watch prob with up to 4-inch hail. I think tomorrow does have a higher ceiling. Yeah, I think today and tomorrow are both very similar ceiling days. I said that a few days ago. I still stick with it. I do think tomorrow's intense tornado threat is higher than today. I think there's a better chance for a violent tornado tomorrow than today. Doesn't mean tomorrow will perform better than today, though, because today performed very well. It's a Monday. That's the exact reason why it will perform tomorrow. Yeah, so still very significant line here. Moving into northeast Kansas and even more into Iowa. I will still continue to watch the supercells back down here with this cluster in Kansas. Yeah, also watch these little notches. We definitely could have a few tornadoes. I think we had about 8 tornadoes so far today. Thinking about 8 tornadoes, 3 strong. Oh, that ain't good. I've definitely overcharged my phone. That's for sure. This is our high-res,
A new tornado warning has been issued.
rapidly updating satellite here. Just want to show you all that because it looks very, very awesome. I'm always a satellite nerd. I think it looks probably the best right here just before dark. Look at that. Say this frame right here. Let's go to shortwave. No, not that. I want sandwich. I like sandwiches. That's something Lucky would say. Look at that. That is crazy. It's a line. Yeah, no way. Really, Ben? I can't tell. It's almost like it's a line. Yeah, I think we have about another hour or so of peak activity here. Maybe less. New tornado warning there for Sac City. Hard to say what's happening there, but definitely worth a tornado warning from what I could see, which ain't much. But looks like it's worth it. Refresh. Want to go check the HRRR yet again. Yeah, I don't know. Feel like it's really underdoing Iowa's threat. Let's go see StormNet. I feel like this is really underdoing Iowa's threat tomorrow. Well, no storm net also fell apart. Wow. StormNet just collapsed for tomorrow. Really seems like the main threat's going to be north central Kansas, southeast Nebraska. Let me guess, there's no radar there? Oh, you know what? That might do. Probably not. Yeah. Crap. Our highest threat tomorrow is going to be right in this area here. And we've only got one radar. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, tomorrow's going to go crazy in this area because there's not much radar coverage. That's how it goes. StormNet did fairly well today. I think it did fairly well. Let's see. Trying to think of anything else I can look at here. What about this? Okay, that's not in yet. Alright, good night, Kevin. You ain't gonna miss much. Thanks for tuning in. Mainly from here on out, it's just big wind, big wind threat. Some isolated large hail near 1.5 inches in diameter, and then a few weak brief spin-ups are possible. Wouldn't rule out one strong tornado. But the main hail threat is going to stay down in here. Everything else is mainly a wind threat and spin-up QLCS threat. Yeah, we're still at 6 tornado warnings here. 34 more minutes. We've got a lot of these go for 34 more minutes. One goes for 4 minutes, 2 go for 18, and then all the rest go for 34. Oops. Quick question. Why does this say nearly stationary? Any add-on to that? Because this thing is moving at like 65 plus miles per hour. And this NWS says stationary, nearly stationary. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Does that look stationary to y'all? Because it sure doesn't to me. That looks like the opposite of stationary. That looks fast. Ow. Unnecessarily loud beep. Golly, man. Trying to break my ears. I think this wind threat here is peaking right now. Peak for about the next 45 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes. But yeah. Let's go ahead and look at the future. Obviously, you have the Great Bust of 2026 tomorrow on May 18th. And then after that, we're divoting pretty dang low for tornado potential. Wouldn't rule out a brief spin up on Tuesday, but really not anything tornado concern wise for Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday will probably be the least active days, especially Thursday. Could have some leftovers, severe storms in the East Coast on Wednesday. But Thursday should be pretty much full-blown inactive across the country. And then we move into Friday, and guess what? Severe weather is likely on Friday. Probably, from what I could tell, right now there's a lot of uncertainty, but probably somewhere around the Kansas vicinity. Somewhere between Kansas and Iowa on Friday. And then Saturday, we will probably also have the risk for severe weather. And then Sunday, we'll probably have the risk for severe weather. But none of it looks notable. It's a lot of mesoscale features, so I expect most of them to be low-end days. The only one I'd be watching for tornado potential is probably Friday, and that's only if the shortwave divots far enough south. I will not have probably any content Friday, Saturday, or Sunday this upcoming weekend. So that means I got to get a video out probably between probably Wednesday or Thursday. I'll have to get a video out. Let me look. Yeah, probably Wednesday or Thursday I'll have a video out. Not sure what I'll talk about in that video. I'll probably talk about how the Omega Block is going to completely destroy any tornado potential we have over the rest of May. StormNet, for some reason, really likes Colorado on Thursday. Eastern Colorado, so we'll see if that verifies somehow. But I expect the rest of May to be inactive. We'll have our couple mesoscale feature days, some small end days, but I think May is going to end very well below average. Unless tomorrow magically produces 100 tornadoes, which I don't see how the heck that happens. But you never know, because yeah, Illinois did it on the 17th, a month ago today, so you know, that outbreak went ham in Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. But yeah, some would have to...
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Something would have to change exponentially in order for May to end average to above average. Which I wouldn't rule it out, but you never know. I mean, so far we're probably like near 50. I don't know like what count we're at exactly, but I'm just throwing a random number out there. We're probably... let me look. If I had to give an estimate. Let's see here. Dang. Oh, yeah, we had that event in Mississippi. That's probably about 15 here. Man, what have we had? Like only 20 tornadoes so far in May? So that's probably about 20, but then you got to include the sixths. Yeah, we're probably about 30 to 40 tornadoes in May. So even if we go on the upper echelon of that, which is 40, you still need over 120 tornadoes in order for us to finish average. And with a pattern that looks like This in the future,
A new tornado warning has been issued.
I don't think that's going to come to fruition. Discluding tomorrow, we could probably push out, being reasonable, 20 plus, 20-ish tornadoes. Actually, even if you include tomorrow, we could probably be pushing around 20 more tornadoes in May, and that's just not going to cut it. So I think May will finish very well below average tornado-wise. It's been near average severe weather-wise, I will say. And I expect it to be near average severe weather-wise because we should have a few more mesoscale days that allow for more hail and damaging winds for a couple more days in May. But I don't expect any of those mesoscale days to produce mini tornadoes. And then June looks bad, man. June looks bad. June looks like a flop. Something's got to change quick for June, or we're in jeopardy for the entire tornado season. Who knows? Tomorrow might be our last good day for severe weather for the rest of the year. A good day for tornadoes, I should say. Nah, I'm sure June will have something in store for us at some point. Did we say May would flop with a mega block? I don't know. I didn't say that. I don't think anybody was calling for a nothing May. I definitely wasn't calling for that, but it's going to end very well below average. Unless, like I said, unless something magical happens and we end up with, like, an absurd amount of tornadoes tomorrow and then something crazy pops off at the very last few days of May. Again, we need over 150 tornadoes in, like, 13 days. Which I don't see a single model run that shows anything that would produce a multi-day stretch enough to get that to 150 plus. Look at that. Very intense line here. And decent tornado potential on that far northern edge. Very strong 60 plus mile-an-hour winds there, upwards of 80. So if you're in any of these shaded areas, get away from doors and windows. If you're in any of the flashing polygons, you got to be in your safe spot. And if you're in the brown polygon up there for Rockwell City, make sure you're also in your safe spot. June isn't even here. In April, many people were thinking May would be dead. Those many people would be correct. We had one tornado outbreak in early May, the 6th. Today, I would barely consider an outbreak. And tomorrow might be right in that similar threshold of an outbreak. So you're looking at 3 mini tornado outbreaks for May. That's pretty dead. That's pretty dang dead. I see tomorrow going similar to today, where it's a whole lot of severe weather, and only the start is the big tornado threat. And then maybe a few QLCS spin-ups like what we're seeing now. I see tomorrow playing out similar to today. Just tomorrow has a little bit higher ceiling and a little bit better potential. Whether or not it uses that potential, only time will tell. But we're probably going to finish with below half of the average tornado count for May, which is pretty dang dead. It ain't Omega block dominating month type dead. But it'd be pretty... That's pretty inactive. May has been mainly mesoscale days. Tomorrow is the first decent trough of May. And even then, decent is a stretch. Many days of May have been mesoscale. A lot of them. But mesoscale days are where the some of the crazy tornado potential's at. It's just you need a big trough to give you the widespread...
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Widespread tornado outbreak that helps May become average. You need your big widespread outbreaks. May 2025 above average or not? I think it was slightly above average. I believe it was. I tell you, it wasn't this dead. Mesoscale days don't mean a month is dead. I literally just said mesoscale days are where some of the best tornado potential is, and now you're saying that was... Now you're saying so you would call that dead as well because it's mesoscale days, but I literally just said mesoscale days was where some of the best tornado threats were. But like I said, in order to get your tornado count, you're going to have to get a bigger trough. I.e., what you just said, May 16th. I mean, even that one stretch, May 16th through the 20th. 50 tornadoes, May 16th. 60 tornadoes, May 18th. 40 tornadoes, May 19th. 40 tornadoes, May 20th. Boom, there you go. Average May, just like that. Just like that. In a 4-day stretch, you got an average May. And then if you go for the mesoscale days, you had the 14th with a few tornadoes. What was the biggest other mesoscale day? Yeah, you had a lot of tiny little mesoscale days in May of 2025. A lot of mesoscale days. So without like that one stretch, without that stretch from the 16th to the 20th, it would have been a below average May. Or from the 15th, actually, the 15th through the 20th. That's literally what made May. If you took away that stretch, last year's May would have been below average. And probably well below average, like this year. But, yeah, normally that's what you see in May is a big trough that causes multiple, 2 to 3 tornado outbreaks in 2 to 3 days. And that's what makes May average. And if you get another one of those stretches, it could be above average. Last May was right around that average to above average. Average to slightly above average. This May won't be the same, though, because we ain't got a stretch of outbreaks from the 15th through the 20th. We don't have a 5-day outbreak sequence coming up.
New information, this tornado warning has been upgraded.
Public confirmed a tornado on the south side of Plattsmouth around 8:48 Central. That was 10 minutes ago. I'll look at that in just a little bit. I got to get this up. Here we go. Look at that on radar. Oh, yeah. That definitely could produce a tornado. No surprise. Actually, might have had a little CC there. Yeah. That right there could have been a little CC drop.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So no wonder why that was a observed warning there. That crazy, crazy line, dude. Wow. Very, very impressive line. Well, our main tornado threat is almost out of the 15% tornado risk. Give it about 30 more minutes or so, and they'll be outside of the main 15 sig risk, and we would have covered the entire 15% risk. We got a new HRRR run coming in. See here. Oh, forgot it's 00Z. This is going to go to Tuesday. Let's see what Tuesday looks like. Some slop. Tuesday looks like some absolute slop. Yeah. Yuck. Tuesday is going to do none. Oh, you could see Texas, actually. Look at that. Look at Texas. Texas could have something. Something. What about Wednesday? I'm curious. Yeah, give me some Appalachian storms. Heck yeah, I'd love to see storms fire along the mountains like that. Those storms produce some killer-looking clouds. No tornado threat with them, but still would be cool to see. Northwesterly flow. Love it. What's CSU have for Wednesday? For Tuesday, it has a slight risk for hail in Texas and a slight risk for wind, mainly in the Midwest, and a 2% tornado risk, oddly enough, in the New England states for day 3. And it actually does have the risk for some severe weather across my neck of the woods on Wednesday, but it also has a slight risk in West Texas. West Texas, you say? It says West Texas would be the main day on Wednesday. Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me if we get a slight risk at some point somewhere across the west side of Texas for Wednesday. Continuing with our very large, intense MCS here. Now heading towards Fort Dodge in Iowa. Make sure you get away from doors and windows and close to your safe spot, Fort Dodge, Iowa. I'm going to go further south here, way south, to Kansas. These storms still considerable for hail, and two of them for wind, 2 of them for hail. This one is for just wind, this one is for wind and hail, this one is for just hail. And you can see there's plenty of spots where we could see 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts here along this line. So no point in canceling any of those significant severes. I wouldn't even be surprised if they upgrade this severe to significant because it's the only one that's not significant. And we still could see 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts with that, especially with the storm just southwest of Denison in Iowa. So pretty much a 70 mile per hour line of damaging winds the size of Iowa sweeping through western Iowa heading to central Iowa. Now, if you're in Des Moines, it's going to be a while before you get hit. But if you're in Fort Dodge, both of these areas, Des Moines, Fort Dodge, considered central Iowa. Fort Dodge, you're going to get hit in 30 minutes. Des Moines, you're still 2 hours, maybe even a little bit longer out from being hit. Very curious to see what the HRRR has, the 01Z. I sometimes like the 01Z HRRR better than the 00Z when it comes to the following day of severe weather. So for tomorrow, I kind of like to look at the run after the 00Z more than the 00Z run. So, yeah, this risk is going to continue for a while. I still think we could see 80 mile an hour winds. I wouldn't even rule out a gust of 90. And then we're likely still to see a few tornadoes, maybe even one strong. The highest tornado threat will probably be focused on this northern line up here. But I wouldn't rule out a tornado down in this area or down in this area. Let's go check mesoanalysis.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Yeah. That primary spot, definitely the northern line up here. That's definitely going to be the main area for tornadoes tonight.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
That's what was our observed warning being downgraded to a indicated, radar indicated warning. And a new observed now for Dakota City. Law enforcement confirmed a damaging tornado. So we're at 7 tornado warnings right now. 7 tornado warnings, quite a bit. We will lose that in 8 minutes, so that's 2, 3 tornado warnings we'll lose in 8 minutes. So we'll be down to 4 tornado warnings in 8 minutes. 1 observed, 3 radar indicated. Assuming we don't get any new ones here. Yeah. So, biggest problem is going to be this line making its way through Iowa. Highest tornado threat will be focused on the northern side of that, but we still could see another tornado on the southern end. Large hail threat will continue across Kansas. Isolated damaging winds there. But the biggest threat is widespread 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts in Iowa, gusts upwards of 80. Wouldn't even rule out a random gust of 90, but mainly gusts upwards of 80. A few tornadoes in Iowa, 1 strong. Definitely can't be ruled out.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Yeah, guess where that is? Northern Iowa. We got flashing polygons all up here in northern Iowa. A line of tornadic thunderstorms. This is your fun QLCS stuff, so don't wait to get to your safe spot. These storms, if they do produce tornadoes, they are likely to produce them very quickly. But good news with that is they are likely to be very, very quick tornadoes. So both good and bad news. Good news is that if tornadoes do occur, they're likely to be fast. The bad news is they're likely to be fast in the sense that you don't get a very big heads up. I forgot the 10 sig goes all the way down to Enid, Oklahoma tomorrow. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm only going to stay live a little bit longer here since we have a big day tomorrow. And I think this threat has, I think the main tornado threat has already passed. I think the wind threat is going to be peaking over the next hour or so and really begin to die out once we get to about 11:30 Eastern. And yeah, really the only area I'm concerned for tornadoes is really just this northern risk right up there. NATOcast, not NATOcast, my bad. StormNet has the primary wind threat dying out at about 10:50, but still a continued threat for isolated damaging winds all the way up till about 4 a.m. So I think our worst damaging wind threat will end here in about a little less than an hour, but we'll still have the risk for up to 70-mile-an-hour winds till probably midnight Eastern, and then just isolated damaging winds after that. Oh no, let me look at this real quick. I wonder if this moves fast enough, if there's a small chance it could be classified as a derecho. No, no way. Nah. It's too long. That means we're not even halfway done with the main damaging wind threat, and that's just not true, so no way. I don't know where that was. Was that the first tornado, the Tory, or the unwarned Tor? That's how they're classified in my mind. You had the first strong Tor,
A new
another
tornado
tornado
warning
wow.
has been issued.
The first one, okay. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think that's going to be the tornado that ends up being intense. That one has the best chance of being rated as an intense tornado from today. These are just spin-ups, man. They're going to be hard to spot, so just be in your safe spot if you're in the warned areas. Very significant line of damaging winds rolling through. So, wouldn't rule out a strong tornado and a few more tornadoes in this area. Also wouldn't rule out, again, widespread 60 to 80 mile an hour winds likely. A gust upwards of 80, 85 is possible. Wouldn't rule out one upwards of 90. But I'm going to head off. I've got some stuff I want to do tonight in preparation for tomorrow, a few things I want to do, and I'll be on standby still for the next hour. So if we randomly get a Tori, I'll be back on probably. So stay weather aware. I will be live decently early tomorrow. Storms are expected to fire probably about 4, right? Right about 4. So we'll be live probably close to 2 tomorrow. Expect a live stream about 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, maybe 3 Eastern, depending on how things trend. But with that being said, this coverage was warranted. Bit of an urgent coverage. It was a little unplanned. Was warranted because of that tornado emergency. So definitely glad I went live for that debris signature turned into a Tori somehow, which was absolutely wild. So, like I said, just keep an eye out, especially in northern Iowa, for that tornado threat. That's going to continue to be pretty dang significant. And other than that, just stay weather aware. I will catch y'all tomorrow. Like I said, probably close to 2 p.m. Eastern. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your night. Thank you so much for tuning in, mods for Mod Chat, and everybody for being here. I'll be on standby for just a little bit longer, just in case anything crazy pops off. But I don't expect anything too insane. But just wouldn't rule out a few more tornadoes, one strong. And the worst problem is going to be those widespread 60 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts. So I will see y'all tomorrow, probably around 3 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, thank you, mods for Mod Chat, and everybody for being here. And again, I do expect a few more tornadoes tonight. So please stay hyper weather aware. Stay safe. Have a great rest of your Sunday night. And I will catch y'all tomorrow. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch the severe weather, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you, mods, for Mod Chat. Have a great rest of your Sunday night. Goodbye.